Welcome to Info Hub. In our headlines, Head of State calls for respect of international rule of law, World Interfaith Harmony Week being observed, and an agriculture sector census to be undertaken this year. Stay tuned for the details of these and more. Daddy! And now for the details. President Granger says threats to Guyana's territorial integrity will be removed by peaceful judicial means as the Guyana-Venezuela border controversy moves to the International Court of Justice. Here is our first report.
The head of state reiterated Guyana's strong case as it moves to the ICJ to defend its territorial integrity.
I'm happy that for the first time since independence we have reached this far. And I'm very glad that the entire country is united behind this move. We are very confident that the award of the tribunal in 1899 will be vindicated. As you've seen photographs, our soldiers are patrolling the borders every week, every day, and they've identified markers which indicate clearly that the border was correctly defined and demarcated since 1899. The international community must know that the threat to Guyana's territorial integrity will be removed by peaceful judicial means by the ICJ.
The president also said once the conflict is resolved, it will contribute to the nation's development as investors will be assured that Guyana is safe.
We are confident that this will contribute to our development. It will contribute to the confidence investors have in coming to Guyana, and will contribute to the infrastructural development that we have engaged other countries with, Brazil and China. They would like to know that they're operating in a safe region of Guyana that is not under claim.
Since 1962, Venezuela has contended that the arbitral award of 1899, which established the border between the two countries, is null and void. The Geneva Agreement of 1966, Guyana and Venezuela conferred upon the United Nations Secretary-General the power and responsibility to choose a means of peaceful settlement. On Tuesday, January 30th, 2018, a spokesperson of the UN Secretary-General announced the next move for a settlement will be the International Court of Justice. President Granger made these comments yesterday at the accreditation of the new Cuban ambassador, Sunil Williams, for Info Hub.
Ambassador Sir Ronald Sanders says the decision by the United Nations Secretary-General to have the ICJ settle the Guyana-Venezuela controversy is most welcomed. Tiffany Rogers has the details.
Peaceful settlement of disputes, particularly in the Caribbean region, is vital to economic progress, Ambassador Sir Ronald Sanders told Info Hub. Sir Sanders pointed out the UN Secretary-General's decision is constructive and helpful for Guyana, Venezuela, and all nations of the hemisphere since, quote, it will cast adjudication in a structured and legal framework, end quote. The ambassador, who is also a legal luminary, expressed his confidence in the ICJ to address the matter, given its years of experience in adjudicating territorial and maritime issues between nations. The UN Secretary-General, through a spokesperson, announced his decision earlier this week to have the ICJ settle the decades-old controversy between the neighboring countries. For Info Hub, Tiffany Rogers.
An agricultural census critical to planning for the sector is to be undertaken this year. Here is this Paul McAdam report.
According to Minister of Agriculture Noel Holder, a survey of the sector has not been conducted for several decades. The minister noted that the government is committed to the reintroduction of this important data-gathering exercise.
We've gotten funds through the IDB to do a national agricultural census. There haven't been a census in this country since the 1950s, an agricultural census. I don't mean counting heads for thing. That's being done this year. We'll probably finish the following year.
In addition, Minister Holder explained that his office is working towards the re-establishment of a planning unit at the Ministry of Agriculture. This, he said, will aid in the development of a structured plan for the expansion and development of the agriculture sector.
What has been missing in the equation and is being put in this year is the whole planning section, coming back to what you said. It was scrapped under the past administration in the Ministry of Agriculture. We have to put that back so that we can have a long-term plan.
Minister Holder revealed the plans during a recent meeting with stakeholders of the private sector during his outreach to the Maibikuri area in January. Paul McCallum for InfoHub.
The Region 3 Regional Executive Officer Dennis Jaikaran said his administration is currently in negotiations with the CHNPA to have the Le Parfait Harmony and Tushan housing schemes. Alexis Rodney tells us more.
A number of years now, these schemes would have been established, and there is need for improved infrastructural work to be done. So if the scheme is handed over, that can be covered under the RDC and the NDC.
The REO explained that since these communities do not fall under the responsibility of the regional administration, the local organs are unable to provide the necessary assistance to develop the communities. If granted, this approval will enable the neighborhood democratic councils to collect monies to execute necessary works for the schemes.
More persons would be paying taxes to the NDC, so more work would be done. And so the level of legality in terms of what is to be done, who is to do what, that is going to be further established.
Jaikaran stressed that move will benefit the residents of these communities, which is in keeping with the government's commitment to provide the good life for all. Alexis Rodney for InfoHub.
Tiffany joins us again. She now tells us that the Corps of Wardens, launched last year, have begun establishing their presence in several interior mining districts.
Director of Compliance at the Ministry of Natural Resources, Derek Lawrence, said the Corps of Wardens will be used as part of efforts to increase monitoring and enforcement in the mining districts.
Through a number of joint patrols, working in collaboration with members of the GGMC, members of the EPA, and in some instances even with members of the Guyana Forestry Commission, we have been able to establish a presence in many of the mining districts.
This year, the ministry is seeking to establish outposts for the wardens.
We're trying to determine strategic locations where the greatest needs will exist, but we don't intend for the wardens to operate from Georgetown. So they will be going out into the interior.
The Corps of Wardens is a law enforcement unit tasked with the monitoring and enforcement of order in the mining industry. Some 45 wardens were certified last year. It is hoped that the introduction of the wardens will serve as a deterrent for illegal mining activities. For InfoHub, Tiffany Rojas.
The Caribbean Development Bank CDB-funded Sea and River Defense Works project will advance this year. Details from Renetta LaFleur.
The U.S. $30.9 million project, launched in 2016, will see the reconstruction and improvement of approximately 5.4 km of sea and river defenses in 8 critical areas in Regions 2, 3, 4, and 6. Chief Sea and River Defense Officer Kevin Samad said at the end of 2017, contracts were awarded for 2 lots of works under the program.
There was a lot 1 for works along the Essequibo coast at Johanna Cecilia and on the Essequibo Islands, and of leg 1 we have 2 project sites there at Success and Endeavour. Lot 2 entail riprap construction works for 1,200 meters, which is 1.2 kilometers of work. And this project has been awarded. Work has not commenced. There is site preparatory work that was ongoing at the end of 2017, and this is at Crane.
According to Samad, a database has been established containing all the critical areas identified for river defense upgrades.
Some of the areas where we intend to do work in 2018 under the capital program, for Essequibo, we have some works at Warusi, Aurora. On the islands, we have work at Zealandia, Belle Plaine, Melville, Leg 1. We have some major reconstruction works at Canefield, Amsterdam area, West Demerara. We have works that will be ongoing at Bellevue, the William. And in Borbies, we have some work in Crabwood Creek.
In 2018, $1.3 billion was budgeted for sea and river defense works, from which $900 million will go toward capital works and $400 million for maintenance. Renetta LaFleur for InfoHub.
Guyana has joined the rest of the world in observance of World Interfaith Harmony Week, being held under the national theme, Fostering Social Cohesion in Guyana. Here is Stacey Carmichael with our final report.
The Interreligious Organization of Guyana, IRO, in collaboration with the government of Guyana this morning at the National Cultural Center, launched the United Nations Interfaith Harmony Week under the global theme, Love of the Good and Love of the Neighbor.
Delivering the feature address, Minister of Public Telecommunications, Catherine Hughes, said Guyanese have been able to chart a common course for daily coexistence, that their differences are unrecognizable.
One thing is certain. We need to listen in an unbiased way to what has been handed down, our spiritual heritage, to allow those common threads to shine. Faith communities are the de facto trust networks. They can transcend divides, validating or invalidating different approaches to common good. And as such, they are a natural distribution network.
Minister Hughes added that working and living in harmony must be a ready, willing and spontaneous action, which forms part of every individual's character. This, she believes, is for the common good of our spiritual and material well-being. Meantime, Minister of Social Cohesion, Dr. George Norton, expressed confidence that if Guyanese apply the same level of tolerance and respect they do for the various religions, the nation can become the epitome of love and a model of harmony for the world to follow.
I want to encourage you to teach your child, your children, your loved ones, love for humanity.
The event featured interfaith prayers from 7 religious bodies, including the Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Baha'i, Rastafarian, Faithist, and the indigenous group. The message of peace and love for all was echoed by representatives of the Alliance for Change and the Partnership for National Unity. The representative for the People's Progressive Party was a no-show. World Interfaith Harmony Week is being held from February 1 to 7, 2018. For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
Please be reminded that women 21 years and older should have their pap smears done, since early detection saves lives. Thanks for watching. Remember to connect with us 24/7 on our website and social media. Goodbye.